Welcome back to As the Crank Turns, Episode 2. Alright, so on this one we're starting out with the Cts V 2010. Just pulling a few of the injectors out. We're going to go have those flow tested. They're supposed to have ID 1050s in the car. That's what, whenever I purchased it, he told me, but I just want to verify before I start doing other mods to it. There's a few things I'd like to do to it. If it has the 1050s in it, I'll probably go ahead and do the auxiliary fuel pump, E85 sensor, and possibly throw a cam in it. The car has an upper, lower pulley, air raid intake, and Texas Speed long tube headers. It does have just a 2.5 inch, I believe, Corsa mufflers on it, which I will be doing a little bit of that before I have it tuned. Want to take it 3 inch a little further back right now at the mid pipe right before the axle back. It goes back down to 2.5 inch. I'm going to make it 3 inch all the way to at least the mufflers and then take it down to there. And then I would like to maybe add some electric cutouts. The car is just, it's a little too quiet for my liking. It's a really comfortable car, and just how quiet it is, it's just too quiet. It's too quiet. I'm getting older, but I'm not that old yet to where, you know, I just want a quiet car. So I don't want it to be obnoxious, which it may be a little bit with cutouts, but at least then I can, you know, I can close the cutouts, run it through the muffler to quieten it down. So that's probably the route I'll take. But let's get these injectors out, and gonna head over to Warlock Dyno so he can flow test these injectors for me. Not easy to do with one hand, so I'm probably gonna lay this camera down. All right, so we're back from Warlock Dyno and Tuning, and yeah, bad news. It looks like we've got around 60 to 65 pound injectors, not the 1050s like the previous owner had told me when I purchased the car, but that's all right. I'm gonna throw these back in real quick, and we're gonna be done with the Cts V for right now. I am gonna bring it back and do a little exhaust work on it before I take it to the dyno. We will be having Warlock Dyno and Tuning do the tune on this car. We'll probably end up buying some bigger injectors for the Cts V, and I say that because we're going to need injectors for the van, for this LS swap that we're doing in the van, and I don't think that these injectors are going to do us much good. They look like they've been sitting for a while. At a minimum, they would need cleaned, but I'm pretty sure they're just OE, you know, LQ4 Silverado fuel injectors. I'm not sure what the size is on that. I'll have to look. But that'll give us the opportunity to pull the injectors out of the Cadillac, use those as they are the same style of injectors that will be going into the van, and then we can buy some larger injectors for the Cadillac. I believe about 1050s is what I need for what I'm looking to do to the Cadillac, and then we can throw these. I'm guessing they're LS9 injectors. From what I've seen, that's sort of an upgrade for the Cadillacs, the Cts Vs, is to throw LS9 injectors into it. They flow a little more. But like I said, for now, I'm gonna throw these back in. I'm trying to focus on one project, which is the van for now. I wanna get the engine swapped on that and get it running and driving so I can start to button stuff up. I use it a lot during the summer. I ride supermoto, so I use it to haul my bikes to the track and, you know, different places. So I do want to try to get the van back on the road sooner rather than later. And after we get that going, that's whenever I can put my attention back on the Cadillac. But for now, I'm gonna button it back up and get it ready for the dyno. And so here we go. All right, so we're gonna throw the injectors back in the Cadillac, and before we do this, we want to, make sure the O-rings are well lubricated. So we're gonna.
Oh, you gotta give him that huck to and spit on that thing. You get me?
And that should be good. All right, so we got the fuel injectors back in. So for this next part, I'm just gonna cycle the key a couple times, get the fuel pump to pressurize the fuel system. And I need you to go outside and check to make sure there are no leaks. And then just to let me know if any of the fuel injectors are leaking or not. So what are you still doing in here? Get out there and check this out. Whoa. All right, did you see anything? No? All right, cool. Well, let's turn this thing over and see if it'll start and make sure we don't have any issues. All right, so that's all we're gonna do today on the Cts V. Drop a comment below to let me know what you want to see done to this thing. I can't make up my mind exactly how far I want to go with it, so drop a comment below, let me know what you all think. Back to the van. All right, back on the van. So I did stop and get some spark plugs for it. They're gapped at 40 thousandths. They are the NGK TR5s. I saw a lot of people saying they go with the TR55. The only difference is it's got a larger gap, which I've heard can cause some misfiring issues on these, on the LQ4s. So I went with the TR5. So we're gonna get those spark plugs all juiced up and thrown in the heads, and we'll go from there. I also wanted to show you guys the reason I'm actually doing the LS swap in the van. The 5.7 throttle body injection was just fine, but the exhaust started to fall apart. And if I'm gonna put a new exhaust on it, I might as well do an engine swap, throw an LS in it. We are gonna do a full stainless exhaust on the van once we get the engine in, so yeah. All right, so we got our spark plugs in and the engine mounts on as well. The engine mounts are from ICT, as you can see there. I'd also purchased from ICT a plate oil cooler. I did get from ICT this guy here. It does have a couple ports that you can use for turbo oiling, which turbo may be in the future for this. Maybe not with this engine in particular, but maybe in the future. We'll see. The van here, Herbert, may end up with a turbo or two later down the road. We'll see. So I'm gonna slap this on and start getting stuff ready to get this LS inside of the van. Alright, as you all can see, we got the LS, the 6-liter in the van behind me here. Took a little persuasion to get everything to fit in there, but overall, I'd say it went in easier than the old engine came out, so that was good. I was able to get it all by myself, get everything lined up. So now we're just going to start buttoning everything up, and figure out what we need, because like I said, I'm not really exactly sure what I'm doing, so just sort of figuring it out as we go. But yeah, it looks pretty good in there to me. Now we'll just see if we run into any issues as we're buttoning everything up. I know I'll have to do some stuff with the accessories on the front. I'm not exactly sure what I want to go, what route I want to take with that. So I really wanted to get the engine in to figure out sort of what we have space for, where everything needs to go, and then get some stuff then. So let's get back to work. All right, so got it in, went ahead and bolted the engine and transmission together, got the torque converter bolted up, starter on, went to install the dust cover, and it was hitting a few things. I cut a few pieces off the dust cover, and it's still hitting right below the crank. So I'm gonna look to see maybe I need to buy a dust cover for the for an LS, and maybe that'll work. That's gonna be all for this episode of As the Crank Turns. So the big project for me on this now is really going to be the wiring. Had a feeling he was going to do that, so had to come out here and do a little recording. But anyway, it's going to be it for this one. Till next time.